The story, The Ugliest Woman in the World, is chilling. A beautiful woman turned into the ugliest woman in the world. Mary Ann Bevan was a beautiful woman who worked as a nurse in a hospital in England, but when she reached the age of 32, she was afflicted with gigantism, the enlarged limbs which affected her. To the ugliest woman in the world, the story of Mary goes back to when her features changed completely after her marriage and the birth of 4 children, and she became afflicted with a syndrome that results from increased secretion of growth hormone, GSH, by the anterior lobe of the pituitary gland, where the facial features completely change and the limbs begin to swell, causing her to have undesirable features. She was disfigured, suffered from constant headaches, had severe visual impairment, and had excruciating pain in the muscles and joints. Mary Ann was born in December 1874 in London. In her youth, she worked as a nurse, and at the age of 29, she married a flower seller named Thomas Bevan. But at this stage, symptoms of Mary's illness began to appear, and her life changed completely, especially after the death of her husband, who left her alone with nothing and 4 children. Her illness was not the only crisis in her life, but she suffered after the death of her husband, due to her financial need to support her 4 children and pay off the debts that she had accumulated, especially after she was fired from her job because of her appearance. One day, the ugliest woman in the world competition was announced, and I actually applied for it, and she did not show sadness in front of people, and she won only $50 at the time, even though it was a bitter experience for a woman of her age. After the prize money ran out, she decided, for the sake of her children, to work in a circus where they would go around all the cities in Britain because people were flocking to her to see the ugliest woman in the world. Young and old would throw stones at her while laughing sarcastically, and she would respond to them with the words, "I love you, children. You are like us, my children." She continued this difficult work for her until she died of pain and fell in the middle of the circus, while the audience applauded her, thinking that she was acting out one of the scenes to make them laugh. However, that was the moment of separation, as she died in the year 1933. Read also An Unexpected Gift. An American crammed 836 parrots into narrow cages.